I have to wait so this can go in the DVD. Isn't Jeff doing a great job? He pulls it all together. Again, our next speaker is Arthur Faram. And Arthur studied business and law and then went on to be an air traffic controller for over 30 years. And in that process, he probably learned more about directions, coordinates, vectors than just about anyone you can imagine. And he's had a passion for ancient cultures. And so I think you'll be very interested in his presentation on how he puts the two together. Will you please welcome Arthur Faram.
Thank you, and I'd like to give you a great thanks for allowing me to present this. This is an entirely new concept, and you're going to be the first people to see it, except for the people that bought the book. And Robert, I'm not an Egyptologist. In fact, I'm not a scientist of any kind, and I continually...
If you step this way, you'll be in the light.
Okay.
There you go.
I continually get asked the question, have you read this book or that book? And I have to say that I haven't, because I got into this concept strictly by accident when I was doing my family genealogy. And when I was a young kid, my grandfather used to tell me about all the stories that he had about when he was in England. He came over here in 1900. And I filed these in the back, and after I retired, I started researching our work. And it started out in Galicia, which is now Spain, and I'm sure a lot of you know that place. And they moved to Denmark and then moved to Scotland. And if any of you know the history of the North Sea, you can see where this is leading. The Celts had a large enclave in that area at the time. And when I got to Scotland, I got involved with the Sinclair story, which led to the United States. And I got involved with the solving of the Newport Tower mystery and the Kensington runestone theory, or mystery. And in solving those, which are mostly geometric problems, where most of my presentation will be geoglyphic problems, I was led into these subtle anomalies that led me to believe that these structures not only were put there for symbolic reasons, but seemed to point in different directions. So I began, at first I got Google Earth. A lot of people think that just because it came from Google, it's not all that great, but Google Earth is a terrific program, and without it, neither I nor anyone else could have come to this conclusions that I have come to. Google Earth allows you to plot on a curvature of the Earth line, and then it allows you to flip that and look at it on a flat plane. And any of you that know about maps, when you have a flat map, it's very distorted and it's impossible to make a straight line on it and be accurate. You have to use a great circle route to make a line accurate and then flip it on a flat surface. That's what the Google Earth software does. Without that, and this would have been impossible, say, 5 years ago. With that, I think I'll give you a small schooling in geoglyphs, because if I didn't, you may not be able to follow me. That right there is some of the situations that I or you, if you decide to try this, will get into. And it's a layout of the different type of situations that you'll encounter in the exploration of geoglyphs. Of course, a straight line, you can go in either direction there. You'll see a lot of circles like these, and if you see two circles, if you draw a line from the center of one to the center of the other, it will point in a significant direction. Of course, it could go the other direction. Any of these lines can point either way, but very, very few of them point in both directions. On this curved line, if you take the end of the lines, you'll see how that's used. You can see the versatility of the square, and also the square with the X in it. Now, this particular picture does not have all these arrows, but these arrows can be encompassed in this also. I've encountered a lot of glyph arrays, and you'll have points here, whether they be stones, cement, and the Celts had cement. Cement goes back to Roman times, so that's not inconceivable. But if you take the center point of this one and run it through the other ones, it'll usually point to someplace significant. Same with two earth mounds. A lot of cases you'll see buildings that don't have parallel walls. That's a clue. And if you follow these lines out, you just might find something. Now, the most important part of using this method is knowing where to stop the line. If you didn't know that, it would be a useless routine. I've tried to put some of the protocols that we use on the map here to give you an idea of what we use to stop a line. Now, the people that put these down on the earth mostly were mariners, and so there's probably a good chance, probably 80 to 90%, that the place where the line's going to stop is going to be on the coast. This being the source, any source, this line here might go over to a river entrance, which is one of their favorite reference points. If you remember, since they were mariners, their reference points would mostly be along the coast, and the entrance to bays and the entrance to rivers were very important to them. Now, I put this here to show that it can go across a piece of land and there's nothing there, so you would just keep going until you found something significant. If you were to run this line out and not find anything significant that meets the protocol that we'd established, then you might look the other direction. Some of the protocols we use is the entrance to a river, a monument, an island, and usually it'll be on the tip of an island. Unless it's a large island, then it might be in the center of the island. The entrance to a bay, there's another river entrance. A lot of them go to another geoglyph, and some of them go to a significant geographical point like here, possibly here, possibly here. You have to excuse me because I don't have a clicker. My software does not allow for that, so I'm going to have to move all these manually. What we're going to investigate today are Stonehenge up here, a geoglyph that I've discovered that I've named the Gulfo de Sintra geoglyph. And I found that geoglyph from the Nab Playa site over here that you may or may not have heard of. And that site pointed to this one, and this one points back to Nab Playa, which is kind of a validation, and it also points to the Giza Pyramid. There's Stonehenge, and up here is a as it was unknown until just now.